The National Electrical Code, specifically Section 230.33 addresses the required clearance between chimney stacks and overhead service conductors. This code mandates a minimum clearance of 3 feet. This clearance applies both laterally, meaning horizontally, and vertically, referring to the distance above. This regulation is also found in the National Fire Protection Association 70 NFPA 7230.33 reinforcing the 3-foot minimum clearance. However, there are exceptions to this 3-foot rule. In areas where local utility regulations permit, the minimum clearance can be reduced to 18 inches. This reduction is specifically for chimneys serving appliances with a BTU output of 500,000 BTU or less. It's crucial to verify local building codes and utility regulations, as they can have specific requirements that may differ from the base NEC guidelines. Therefore, when inspecting or installing electrical services near chimneys, remember the 3-foot minimum clearance outlined in NEC Section 230.33 and NFPA 7230.33. Check local regulations to determine if the 18-inch exception applies based on the appliance's BTU output and local utility allowances. Failing to maintain these clearances can create safety hazards and code violations. Always prioritize safety and compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. To further clarify the importance of these clearances, consider the potential hazards of insufficient spacing. Firstly, inadequate clearance can lead to electrical arcing between the service conductors and a chimney stack, particularly if the chimney is metal or has metal components. Arcing can cause power outages, damage to electrical equipment, and even fires. Secondly, heat from the chimney can degrade the insulation of the service conductors over time, increasing the risk of electrical shorts and other failures. Thirdly, insufficient clearance can hinder maintenance and repair work on both the chimney and the electrical service, making it difficult for technicians to access the equipment safely. When evaluating a situation, several factors must be considered to determine if the clearance is adequate. 1. The type of chimney material is important. Metal chimneys are more conductive and pose a greater risk of electrical arcing compared to masonry chimneys. 2. The voltage of the overhead service conductors affects the required clearance. Higher voltage services generally require greater clearances. 3. The local climate and weather conditions can influence the risk of electrical hazards. Areas with high humidity or frequent storms may require more conservative clearances. 4. The presence of trees or other vegetation near the chimney and service conductors can reduce clearance and increase the risk of contact. To ensure compliance with the NEC and local regulations, it is recommended to perform a thorough inspection of the area around the chimney and service conductors. Measure the actual clearance between the chimney stack and the overhead service conductors at multiple points to identify any areas where the clearance is less than the required minimum. Check for any signs of damage to the chimney or service conductors, such as cracks, corrosion, or worn insulation. Verify the BTU output of the appliances served by the chimney to determine if the 18-inch exception applies. Consult with a qualified electrician or building inspector if you have any questions or concerns about the clearance requirements. When performing electrical work near chimneys, always follow safe work practices and use appropriate personal protective equipment (PPE) to energize the electrical service before working on or near the service conductors. Maintain a safe working distance from energized equipment. Use insulated tools and equipment to prevent electrical shock. Be aware of the potential hazards of working at heights and take appropriate fall protection measures. In addition to the NEC and NFPA 70, other organizations and standards may provide guidance on chimney and overhead service clearance. The local utility company may have specific requirements for clearance around their equipment. Building codes and regulations may also address chimney clearance requirements. It is important to consult all applicable codes and standards to ensure compliance. To summarize, maintaining adequate clearance between chimney stacks and overhead service conductors is essential for electrical safety and code compliance. The NEC and NFPA 70 require a minimum clearance of 3 feet, with an exception for 18 inches in certain situations. Local regulations may have additional requirements. By following these guidelines, you can help prevent electrical hazards and ensure the safe operation of electrical systems and chimneys. Remember to always prioritize safety and consult with qualified professionals when in doubt. Proper clearance not only protects against immediate hazards but also contributes to the long-term reliability and safety of the electrical system and the chimney. Regular inspections and maintenance are key to identifying and addressing any potential clearance issues before they become major problems. Think of it as an investment in safety and peace of mind. Furthermore, consider the impact of future changes or additions. If the homeowner plans to install a larger appliance that increases the chimney's BTU output, the clearance requirements may change. Similarly, if the electrical service is upgraded, the clearance requirements may also need to be re-evaluated. It is important to consider these potential changes and plan accordingly to ensure continued compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. In addition to the technical aspects of clearance requirements, it is also important to communicate effectively with homeowners and other stakeholders. Explain the importance of maintaining adequate clearance and the potential hazards of non-compliance. Provide clear and concise information about the applicable codes and regulations. Answer any questions or concerns they may have. By fostering open communication and collaboration, you can help ensure that everyone is on the same page and that the electrical system and chimney are operating safely. Also consider the environmental factors that might influence the clearance. Heavy snow or ice accumulation on the roof can reduce the effective clearance between the chimney and the overhead service. Strong winds can cause the service conductors to sway, potentially reducing clearance and increasing the risk of contact. It is important to take these factors into account when evaluating the clearance and to implement appropriate measures to mitigate any potential hazards. In conclusion, understanding and adhering to the clearance requirements between chimney stacks and overhead service conductors is a multifaceted process that involves considering not only the immediate code requirements but also the long-term implications and potential environmental influences. By taking a holistic approach and prioritizing safety, you can help ensure the reliable and safe operation of both the electrical system and the chimney.